To come in. I just wanted to share something with you. I got a couple of things I want to try to get done before it's time to go in and start cooking and get ready for tomorrow. I want to plant one of my beds up with some cold hardy vegetables. I'll share a full video later after I get it all planted up. But I wanted to talk to y'all today about the importance of hardening off and just share with you what we've been planting, what we've been starting from seed. But I'm out here today because I am going to let uh, these seedlings stay out here. I'm ready to plant my container garden up, the two patio containers that are right here and right here. So we've cleared most of them out from the fall. I still have like a couple of more like little pansies that we started from seed. I had some garlic chives that I just put right here, and I'm going to move this. I actually started some cilantro last season from seed, and I'm going to get a little bit closer because we had like 19-degree weather the other day, and this kind of took a hit. But I've been hardening off these plants, and I had to bring them back in when the temperatures dropped down to 19. And I want to just share with you what hardening is, the importance of hardening them off, because this set? It might have been one of these sets. So we're going to do two right here. And I am going to put some of these in the raised bed. I know we'll probably get some more cold weather, but I also have frost blankets if we just get another like dramatic drop. I'm just going to pull out the um, I'm going to pull out the blankets, because when I started these seeds, it was really my intention to get them started, because a lot of your leafy greens do not take long to germinate. And then I was just going to move them outside and just let them grow slowly, because if you've been watching some of our other lives and some of our videos, our seed starting room is really starting to fill up. I want to plant some more tomatoes. So some of the more cold hardy things I am going to plant in the raised beds. Like we started more collards, and if you go back and look at the video with the kelliers, those are sprouting nicely. So it's some cold tolerant varieties that we're going to move out. But I do want to start with more tomatoes, more peppers, and those still have a while until it's time to bring them out. I normally wait till about 2 to 3 weeks after our last spring frost. But I'm out here today because not all of them, but most of these containers that you see right here, they're going to be lettuce, leafy greens, and herbs. But I started probably last week hardening them off because we had some mild temperatures. And let me just share with y'all real quick. So this week is going to be in the 60s and the low is going to be in the 40s. But I'm okay with that because, again, I can use frost blankets like if we really dip. And these different varieties, one of them is like a mustard variety. They're more like a cut come again type. It's not like a head lettuce, and it doesn't take long for them to, start growing, reaching maturity. Like some of these are already getting their true leaves, and I do plan on harvesting them more at like a baby stage and just putting them in salads. But I started about a week ago. We were hardening off. And basically, what hardening off means is acclimating your plants to the outside conditions. So we've started them inside. They have controlled temperature. 71 is what we have it down in the basement. Controlled lighting. They get 14 hours of daylight. And then I did turn my little fan on while I was hardening them off, just to try to get their stems really strong. And then also what I'll do sometimes is when it was inside, I would come and I would do this. This is another way you can just kind of build the stem part up of the plant. Hey Shirley, how are you? You could build this. That's how I kind of build it up, is just by doing this. But so I had been putting it out. So I started right by the basement for a couple of hours, and I put it out and I would bring it in. And over the next few days, I would increase the time outside, and I will also move it towards to where it was going to be. But then we got an extreme drop in temperatures. And so I was like, they're still a little bit small. I don't want to risk starting these seeds with all of my hard work and then have them like check out. Because what I will tell you is some varieties of lettuce, they could take like a little bit of frost, but not a lot. And 19, that was too much. Like a lot of our cold plants, when it snowed, we lost some of them too. So you have to know the variety that you're growing. You also, some of the seed packages will say that it could take temperatures down to 10 or temperatures down to 15. So if you're in a colder area, you may want to think about different varieties that can take those temperatures. But from experience, a lot of these lettuces, they can't take down to 19. And so for like 2 nights, I brought them back in and just, put them back on the grow rack. But when I look at this week's weather, it's going to be okay. So I'm going to let these stay. I'm not going to plant them now. I'm going to actually let them stay out probably overnight tonight, just right here, so that they can really get that. I think it's supposed to get down to 40 or something like that. But I also want them to get the wind, because let me tell you, I don't know which one it was. I could tell these plants were pissed off at me. These right here, like the first day that the temperatures, like I hardened them off, I was going with the days, and then one day it still was like maybe 50 degrees, but it was really windy that day. And these got a little bit of wind damage. I know they were pissed off at me, because when I brought them in, some of them were just like leaned over and they was like, how could you do us like that? But I have to at least try to get them acclimated versus just growing them inside and just pushing them out the next day. Now, I don't do my plants like that. I really take about maybe 7 to 10 days. This is more going to be like 10 to 12 days to actually like harden them off. But this is where they're going to be. And I do want to put a few herbs in here as well. We started some thyme. We started zatar. But I think the zatar really spreads because it's in the same family. It actually kind of tastes a little bit like oregano, but it looks just like the oregano leaves. And I know that some of them can spread as well. So I may just put, we've also started cilantro, dill, parsley, but I'll have to harden those off. I won't put them out. So I'm just little by little going to slowly start putting out some leafy greens this week. But I am going to have my frost blankets on standby, and I probably will put out a few more herbs in here. I just want it to be accessible on those days that I just need to come out really quick, grab something for dinner, and then like go back in. But we have a lot that I really need to focus on. Y'all, it's pretty much the last week of February, and spring will be here. I don't know the exact number of days, but we probably got about a month now, maybe around 30 days. Now, don't use that as, okay, I'm going to plan out everything, because again, I'm going to let a lot more of my cooler weather plants stay out a little bit longer, because the tomatoes, the peppers, they're not ready. And then I'm also another plant that I like to direct sow. I don't start those inside, are the sweet peas, the ones that I always say sweet peas, the vegetable, because some people think of sweet peas, the flower, but those are not edible. But I also direct sow my sweet peas, the vegetables. We used to call them like early peas, um, things like that. And I know that around Easter, we would have them. Also, snow peas is another one that I will be starting, and we're going to put those. So last year we put them on the right side of the trellis. So I like to kind of move and rotate things around. So this year for spring, we'll probably put them on the left side of the trellis. We also have some trellises that are in ground now, But if you all have been with me for a while, you know that I'm really trying to work on building my in-ground soil. We're in Georgia Zone 8A, and it is really clay soil. And so I've been using gypsum, I've been using compost, just trying to work on it. It may be a little while, but like I say, if you don't hear anything else that I tell you, really try to work on your soil. Once that soil gets to where it needs to be, you will see that the plants will be happier, they'll take care of themselves, and everything will just go like it's supposed to go. But that's something that really happens over time. And so probably this season too, not for the spring, but in fall until I start to see like a big difference. So we moved to the Atlanta area. It's actually going on 2 years now. Like I can't even believe it. But we moved to the Atlanta area, and one thing I did was I got my soil tested. I shared it with you all, and I need a lot of nutrients and a lot of working for the clay soil. And I never say a soil is good or bad. You just have to work with what you got, but work on building it. So the clay soil, it holds a lot of nutrients, but it also holds water. So if you want to plant plants that don't like to be like waterlogged, you definitely need to work on it. Sandy soil, which we had in Savannah, it great drainage, but it doesn't hold on to nutrients. And so that's one of the reasons why here. But I always tell people with lavender, just me personally in Georgia, I've always had so much luck just planting lavender in containers, and I definitely would not plant them in the ground, not with this clay soil right now, because it doesn't like wet feet. But I'm going to go in. But yeah, the other night, y'all, when it got 19, honey, this cilantro was like, look at here. But it still did, like, overall, it still did good. It's a lot of new growth coming in from right here, but you can tell with the wind and the cold, it didn't like it. So we actually grow cilantro in the fall and let it go over to the winter as well, because when it gets really hot here, that's when it will start to bolt. It'll produce those beautiful white flowers that the pollinators love, but then it's going to go to seed. And so last year we actually saved some of our seeds. So I really love cilantro because it's a 2-for-1 plant. So the leaves are the actual cilantro. When it starts to bolt, go to seed, that's the coriander. And so you could use that as well. So that's why I really love it. We actually started some more, so we're going to make some more. We got to get the herb garden cut back, cleaned up, because we actually have some of our perennial herbs that are coming back. And I see a lot of new growth at the bottom. Let me take y'all out here really quick. Then I'm going to get one of the raised beds planted. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, especially if you want to know what we're growing. You want some garden tips. Um, we definitely would love to have you join our channel and just our community, where we're just trying to teach more people how to grow. But this is the herb garden over here, and you could see I did some cutting back, but the bee balm is starting to surface back up real good. And this is the hot and spicy oregano, but do y'all see where it's starting to get new growth? So when we have perennial herbs like this, what I'll do is once it starts to come back, and I can see it coming back from like the root, I will go in like all of this. I'm going to clean up. I'm going to cut all of this off. All of this legginess, I'll cut it back to where I see the new growth coming. And so I just see new growth, and probably with temperatures in the 60s this week, I'm probably going to see a whole bunch of growth that is going on. But the bee balm, when I tell you, not only the bees, but the pollinators really love it, and it smells good. Also, let's go over here. I started the other day. I came out here to put something back here. Oh, I came out here to get some pots to repot up. This was not on my list, but I kept looking at this oregano, and I was like, oh my gosh, I do not like the way this looks. So I took, my pruners, and I started to clean up. So oregano is another perennial herb. So all of this right here, this is coming off. Like, this is coming off. I'm going to cut some of this thyme back. and just take it, let it dry inside. This is anise hyssop. So do y'all see, like, a lot of perennial plants? This is how perennial plants do. And normally this is when I'll do it in the spring. So I'll just let it overwinter, do whatever it's gonna do. And then when they start to send that new growth up, that's when I come in and I'm gonna cut all of this back. I'm gonna cut all of that back. So this is anise hyssop. The lemon balm is doing the same as well. This is true hyssop. It actually did pretty good, but I'm going to cut it back because if you look down here, you see a little new growth coming. This is true hyssop. What was this right here? Oh, the holy basil. This is a annual, so it won't come back. If I do see holy basil coming back, oh, no, this is stevia. This was stevia. If I do see, but I did have holy basil, which is an annual. If I do see it coming back, it's because they produced seeds and they dropped before I could cut it back and flower. So that's what the people call self-sow. When plants self-sow, it may be an annual, but if you let it go to seed, the seeds will drop, and then nature is amazing. Like, it'll just come back, which I hope it does. I do. But I still grow holy basil every year. That's my go. When I tell y'all that's my go-to herb. And we have a few more of our herbs online at auyannaplants.com. I want to say one of them, we only have one more. I can't, oh, is it the lemongrass or the lemon verbena? One of them, we only have one in stock. But we have holy basil, calendula flowers, lemon verbena, and lemongrass. But I know one is super low. Hello, my flower. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this is the lemon balm right here. So this is really sending a lot of new growth. So what I'm going to do is come in and I'm going to cut all of this back. Cut it back. I'm going to cut it back to these new leaves right here. So whenever you see perennial flowers, they'll die back. But then if you look down at the base, that is when you'll start to see what you can cut off. And normally, like I said, around springtime when they start producing like that, that's when I'll cut it back. But this is, I really need to get a move on it because we have summer savory that we're going to put right here. We also have parsley. We got cilantro. I got more thyme, different types of thyme. I got oregano. I have za'atar. So I just want to clean this up as well and get ready for the herb garden. We're going to plant, we've already planted and germinated more of the calendula, which is what we sell. And we use this in a lot of our salves that we make. And we also drink it as tea too. But I want to show you, this is our garlic that we have growing right here. But I want to show you, this is the speedwell that we have, the Veronica speedwell. This is a perennial flower, but do y'all see how it's starting to come back up? So this is what a lot of your perennials will do. And that is my indicator. I'll probably let this get a little bit more, but I'm just going to take that and cut all of that back. I got a lot of cleanup I got to do, but I keep telling myself, now look at here, it's still winter, so this is what, you know, the garden is supposed to look like. But believe it or not, y'all, I'm gonna walk over here. I'm gonna get with this bed too. This variety of kale, I want to say this is winter boar kale. Now this is one I will say can withstand snow, can withstand 10 degrees. I think at one point we got down to 13 degrees. So this is a variety. This is how you learn what works best for your garden. Like, I could tell you what works best for mine, but this is how you determine what you should be growing more of, because you got to figure what's compatible where you're at. So, hey, you grow row, how are you today? So this variety, I'm going to start some more. This is how I come up with a lot of my favorite varieties too. Like, this didn't miss a beat with the cold, with the snow. Even so, we got down to 19 last week, but we were colder than that. One day it was, you know how it says 13, but then it felt like. So this one, we're going to plant some more of these when it's time. Some of our collards did pretty good. Some of our collards did pretty good. This spinach mustard, the sage, the spinach mustard. Now this took a little bit. This is a little bit of damage right here. It took a little bit of damage, but for the most part, I mean, it did really well. So this is how I come up with a lot of things like, okay, what am I going to grow? What am I going to add to the garden? So I'm just going to focus on the next, really, to be honest, y'all, the next 4 weeks. I always share with you, develop a routine, because you know your schedule. You know what you're capable of doing. Don't overdo it. Just develop a schedule, and just every day or every other day or whatever your schedule looks like, come and just try to work on it a little bit at a time. Normally, what I try to do is either for the week or for the day, I just try to pick one thing, because I'm telling y'all, I can be all over the place and I leave stuff undone, come back, and I'm trying my best to work on that. I really am trying hard, y'all. I'm gonna tell you, this we got to get somebody out here with this HVAC system, because sometimes the noises, I'm like, not right now, and not in the summer either. But so one of my things is I'm going to get ready to plant up a raised bed that I have been clearing out. Let me show y'all this real quick too. This is why I don't like this is why I tell y'all I have a love-hate relationship with this straw mulch. So, we always put straw mulch on. This was a bad batch. But what I've learned now is I don't try to pick it when it sends up the little small sprigs, okay? What I do, normally I'll pull it before it gets this tall, but it's so much easier to come in and just pull it like this and pull it from the roots. But I'm telling y'all, it is cost effective, but with each one, you do not know. You really don't know if it's going to do this or if not. And that bag I just opened, so I already know that I'm going to deal with this for the spring, and then hopefully I won't have to deal with it. But yeah, so I got to do stuff like this, like come in and clean out and pull up all of this. This was called Foxley time. I got to do a little bit of, see, like these that look like this, I take it off, because if you look really close, if y'all look really close, like right here, you see that's new growth. And so I just cut it. I cut it like that, but you could still use this as well. But I want to show you another type of kale. And kale, depending on the variety, a lot of your kales are really, really frost tolerant, cold tolerant. Most of them did pretty good. Even these little purple kales right here, they took just a little bit of damage. But let me show you. This is a really popular kale right here. We started these from seed. It took just a little bit of damage, but the dinosaur kale, or the lacinato kale, so that did pretty good. And these Johnny jump ups that I started from seed, they did pretty good as well. I hope that they self-sow too, because we started these from seed when it was a little bit too warm for them. But I'm gonna cut those back as well. But those did really good. So that's how you just really decide what you should grow in your garden. I'm gonna try one more time. Y'all know the broccoli rabe. I got a spring variety. I'm gonna try the broccoli rabe, but y'all know I'm just like, that one, if you don't time it right, it will bolt. Like if it gets too hot, it'll bolt, but then if it gets too cold, it can't take the temperature. So this one that I said I was going to start from seed, it's a spring broccoli rabe, and I think it says 40 days. And I'm like, I should have enough time, because here in Georgia now, we get about 2 weeks of spring, maybe 3. And then although the calendar might still say April or May and we're still in spring, it feels like summer. And we have a lot of humidity here as well. So I just wanted to really share with y'all today. I'm not going to be long. I'm going to get ready to get off, but I just really wanted to share with you the importance of hardening off. So if you're just coming in, one of the things that we're doing, we've been hardening off, but what happened was I started the hardening off process with the loose leaf lettuce. and we got those growing. It was my main purpose to start them inside just to get a jump start, but then put them outside. Well, it got cold, and I knew that, but I had started hardening them off, and then we got down to 19. And I was like, I know with their size and with the variety, they will not be able to take this. So we pulled them back in. I had started hardening them off. After we pulled them back in, the temperatures are going back up. So I've been hardening them off for like an additional 3 days. But tonight, I'm not going to plant them. I just want to really get these containers planted up. So tonight, I'm just going to let them stay right here all night. And then tomorrow, no later than Tuesday, we're going to start planting them up, because as you can see, it's not as windy as it was yesterday or the other day, but we still got a little bit of wind. And when you harden off, what you want to do is start acclimating your plant between 7 to 10 days, maybe 14, is you want to slowly acclimate it to its environment, because when it's outside, it's going to get fluctuations of temperatures, it's going to get winds, it may get rain, it may get dark, it might get light. So we're still in winter, so it's probably not going to get the whole 14 hours that it was up under the grow lights, and then it grows a little bit slower because the temperatures are a little bit cooler. But since we're in Georgia, lettuce is one of those cool weather plants that we do in the fall, really early spring, because a lot of the varieties will also bolt and they will go to seed. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I'm going to go ahead. Again, if you're not subscribed, you're so welcome. You're welcome. I'm telling y'all, I really wish I could develop a schedule to go live, but I start getting ready to do something and I'm like, oh, I want to share it with them. I want to go live. So I need to try to get better, but it's just like so impromptu. Like, okay, I really want to share this with them. And so I just press live. So I do appreciate y'all just for your time. Just, when you see that I'm live, just hopping on. But if you're not subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, because I think as I'm looking out, I'm going to go ahead and get this first bed planted up, the first raised bed, because this is going to help me not become so overwhelmed too, because I just feel like I'm just chilling right now. I'm like, okay, I got all my roses pruned. I did do that. I got every last rose pruned back. And we're getting a little new growth on that one. Let me show y'all real quick. So I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, I'm chilling a little bit. But I know once that weather warms back up, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I got to get it planted. So I did this a few weeks ago, and it's getting new growth. But I just went in, prune them up a little bit, prune the back ones up a little bit. Y'all know we got a whole rose garden that we did. I pruned all of those. I didn't do a really hard prune because they have only been in the ground for like a year. The main things I was focusing on when I was pruning my roses is get rid of anything that's crossing, get rid of the really small pencil size. See, I need to come in here and probably take off. I got to be careful because these got thorns. Take off that one right there. So anything small, anything crossing, that's really what I was focusing on when I prune these, is whatever was tall, because you don't want them. I really need to go down to my mom and prune hers. I told her, but hers, she's had those for so many years, like they've really gotten woody. But I told her uh, one day, I said, you know what? I'm going to come down here and I'm going to prune these roses, because sometimes when you get out the car, the way they sit, like you'll hit yourself. Like you got to be careful when you get out the car. And I'm like, I'm going to come and prune the roses. And then last fall, since she likes to garden, she doesn't do it as much. She's more of a flower gardener. She likes flowers. She didn't grow vegetables or anything. That used to be my grandfather, who would use, like where my mom stayed at, he would use that space to come and, just get out the house and do something, because my grandmother also had a garden. But I think he was trying to get her to start, but she just, as far as the vegetable part, she didn't. But she does do the flowers even today. And so we went last fall for her church, and we planted some of the drift roses like around the church sign. And I told her, I said, in springtime you're gonna have to prune these. And so I'm pretty sure I gotta go down there and do it, if it's gonna get done. But we did prune our roses, and so now we put down some bulbs. Let me show y'all this real quick. And then I'm finna get off. See, and I know I gotta go cook, but this fall, late winter, y'all, I had bought too many bulbs, okay? I'm gonna be honest. So I just took a whole bunch of containers that I was not using, and I'm gonna put them all over the garden. They're gonna go somewhere, but we got tulips that are coming up. And then I did put some like in the ground too. If you remember last season, this whole space was like from here all the way over to around. It was nothing but pink, purple, and white tulips. This is heather right here. Now, one lady I talked to, I've always thought of it as an annual. I'm just gonna wait and see. She told me here that hers come back every year, and I was like, I thought they was annual. So I'm gonna see if I see some new growth that comes up. If not, these gonna get pulled up. And we'll go with something else because we got some tulips coming up. But I'm just trying to figure out really what I want to put here. I trimmed these azaleas back, but I told Chris, I say, before it's all over, all of this is coming up. I just got to get somebody out here to like really pull it up for me, like all of these. But it's, yeah, they coming up. I feel like they're in the wrong space. This was like really the highlight of my grandmother's garden, but she had like the old school azaleas that only bloom once a year, and that was it. Now these are the encore azaleas. They do bloom twice a year, in like spring and then again in fall, and then maybe sometimes three. It'll be some here and there, but I feel like it's so many spider mites, and then the way the sun goes, I feel like it gets too much sun. Like these probably should be in the front because the front is north facing, and it should really be shaded. But I know they said the encore azaleas can take sun and shade. The new ones did. That's why I always say, like with so many different varieties out now, they're making a lot of varieties of plants that can tolerate sun and shade. Like some of the ones that I knew only for shade, now they could do sun and shade. For example, like the coleus. That's like I've always known that as like a part sun or a morning sun plant, but now they have coleus that can take either sun or shade. So, you just got to look at the variety. But I just keep saying these are eventually, somebody got to pull these up. Like they're gonna have to come in and they're gonna have to pull them up from the root. But I know that Chris is like, whatever you put here, don't be putting this. I'm imitating him. Don't put nothing that's gonna be drawing all those bees while we sitting outside. And I'm like, if y'all stop like hitting at the bees don't want you. Like they're here to feed off the nectar. But I'm telling y'all, he get on me all the time because I'll just do stuff without thinking of it, and then I'll be like, ooh, I probably shouldn't have did that. I know he's going to get me about that rose garden because I was supposed to lay down. I was supposed to try to figure out if I want to put wood chips down. And I know when he gets ready to cut the grass, he is going to start about that. But I just said, this is what I want. I want the ombre effect. We're going to make it like this. But I didn't. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I did not think about like when he comes to cut the grass. The same thing with Pollinator Island. I love it. It's doing good. Let me walk over here really quick. It's doing really good. However, when he cuts the grass, the way he cuts it, it throws grass back into the bed, and then I have to come in and like weed it. This butterfly bush, y'all, did real good too. Both of them on each side. I'm gonna trim these back a little bit, but they did really well. But I do stuff without thinking sometimes because I didn't think about the lawnmower, like throwing grass back on here. But it's okay. Like I'll come in maybe 3 times a year, like before the grass really starts to grow. I'm gonna come in and like re-edge this, remulch it again, and cut back. So this was like the salvia that was really pretty. So I'm gonna cut back all of this because you could see it like new growth down at the bottom. So I'm gonna cut all of that back. And then we got a lot of the wild onions here, which I'm like, hey, if times get a certain way, at least we got onions, wild onions in the yard. We could use those. But I'm gonna pull those. The Shasta daisies back here did good, but as you can see, like this is how I start going through and getting ready for spring. Like all of this we're gonna clean up, so we're gonna do some cleaning up. This bee balm is coming back too. If you look down here, this is new growth, so we come in and we clean that up too. So that's what we're gonna do. That's the purpose of hardening off, y'all. I know I just start going back and forth because it's so much that I want to show you, but I am going to make a video, let you see what we're going to plant. We're going to get some stuff planted and really start off early spring. You all know that one of the things that I have been trying to be very, very mindful with is planting by the moon. And so I'm not going to do my carrots yet because it's a root crop. So we'll do carrots when the next full moon. I direct sow those as well. So I'm going to direct sow those. And it'll probably be a good time as well to go ahead and get it started. See, I got to prune these back. Y'all see the new growth at the bottom? This is phlox. So I'm just going to cut those back as well. Some of our Shaberti alliums are coming up too. This is the cat pajamas. That's coming back. So we got a little work to get done before spring, but I just want it to be nice and I want it to be very colorful and just a nice, serene, stress-free place to sit. So I'm gonna start with the patio. We're gonna start with that and get that right. I cut back some of this. This was like a topiary lavender. So we cut that back already. So we got some new growth coming and it's gonna be a beautiful season this year, y'all. I can't wait. So thank y'all for hanging out with me. Again, if you're not subscribed, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to let these stay overnight. I will keep y'all posted. I will do a separate video once we got it planted, because the way I garden is I like to put vegetables, flowers, herbs all together with each other because they serve as companion plants. And then I never want the pollinators to have to travel too far, so I put everything together: vegetables, flowers, herbs. And then also some of the herbs that we plant, they have a smell that can deter some pests, because often as it starts to heat up for the lettuce, one of the biggest pests that I've seen here is the aphids. And so that's why I try to put some herbs around these things to just deter them. Not to say that we're not going to have any, but I want to make it as hard for them as possible. And again, if you're looking for like loose leaf herbs for your loose leaf tea, definitely check our website out. And we'll let you know everything that we have as it comes available. So I hope you all enjoyed the rest of your Sunday, and we'll talk again soon. Bye, y'all.